Alright, so I'm back. Alright, so let's talk more about Peter John Stolly allegedly resigning or resigning with a heavy heart, right? And we said he's a Leo. We said that he mentioned he was stepping down with a heavy heart. We mentioned Leo is about the heart, and I didn't mention actually why I mentioned the word heart matches fist in the last one, because somebody told me that the heart is the same size as your fist, roughly. And that's the connection that with the 18. I remember that was, if you're lost, then tune into the part 2 of this video, but we talked a lot about the 18, and we mentioned that the word heart matches fist, and we mentioned that the word fist matches hand. In terms of gematria, that's the numerology, that's a process of getting a numerical value of a word. So the word fist equals 18, just like the word hand equals 18. So that's trippy, right? But you know, that word heart equals 24, just like the word fist equals 24, and 2 plus 4 is 6, and we find ourselves in the number 6 year. And now there's other things that, like, I'll say real quick before we get into this. The word 2022, as if you write out TWENTY, TWENTY, TWO, you get a numerical value that's the same as the numerical value for the word mandatory vaccination. Okay, so that is definitely one thing that had my eye on this year being a pivotal year, or at least I wasn't concerned. I was never concerned because, you know, I asked my higher self via my pendulum, I say, you know, is it going to be a forced vaccination situation here in where I live? And I always got to know when I asked about that. And here, let me ask again one more time here. Like, according to my higher self, will there ever be a time where in my location there will be forced vaccinations, and where they'll like pin you down and like force vaccinate you? Left is yes, right is no. See you swinging to the right, which is no. And I'll ask it something that I already know the answer of, to make it swing the other way. That's, according to my higher self, do I have hair on my head right now? Left is yes, right is no. And you see it swings the other way. So, is there, according to my higher self, do I have hair on my head right now? Left is yes, right is no. You see it swing to no. According to my higher self, will there ever be a forced vaccination type situation here in Ontario? Okay, so that's like a no. So that's really, you know, but it doesn't really matter. Like, what matters is the tone of the whole thing, the fact that it's even a question. Okay, and so this was meant to be a side note. I'm already spending too much time on this, but the point is, I mean, that's why the truckers have this feeling of like now or never. That's why I mentioned in just the previous video that Mars is, the coast is clear now. There's very few, there's no planets that are retrograde now. That'll change on late April. If I'm not mistaken, that could have been the 29th of April. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But so, you know, in terms of the short-term planets, though, the coast is clear until November, when Mars is retrograde in November, December. So, but the conjunction with Mars and Venus is kind of like balancing inner masculine and feminine, and that's the whole tone of the whole year from the numerology, from it being 6. And it seems to be underscored by the fact that this full moon, which is in Leo, which is what is Leo, is what is needed to traverse the age of Aquarius energies properly. This full moon is what was I going to say? The same day as the Venus conjunct Mars. Okay. And so yeah, getting back on track here, though. So that hopefully updated us with why I found it funny earlier that the word fist matches hand being a number 18, and why the word heart matches fist. I should have explained that more clear in the last video. But anyway, now here's the thing, right? We mentioned all that stuff about the 18. If you watch part 2, you'll see all that stuff about the 18. All the stuff about the 18 and the 9 being connected to all this. All these developments that happened since 2020, basically the technocracy's developments and everything. And so that's why okay, you know what? I'll just say this again. That heart matching fist, that's with a 24, and that other Leo, right? We said Peter John Slawley was a Leo. Well, the other Leo was Marvin Lee Minsky, who was a life path 9, but particularly he was a life path 9 and born on the 9th, but when he died it was January 24th. So that 2 plus 4 is 6, so that almost seems to resonate. Like, people might think I'm reaching here, but I view this in terms of the energies of the number, not so much the people involved and whatnot. They seem to be almost like just like carriers of this energy. But given how much everything aligns, like, I don't look for these alignments. They just happen. And like you'll see here, he was born on his birth year was a number 19 year. So although Marvin Lee Minsky's life path number is 18 or 9, that 19 is said to, if it's one of the core numbers of your chart, then it's said to, or not your chart, your numerology, it's said to be a karmic debt number. So that's one thing. I'm not going to branch off into that right now. That'll be too much branching. Point is, there's that 24, and he is a Leo, and then you find that the word heart equals 24, and you find that a lot of this is coalescing now in 2022, which is a number 6 year, and 2 plus 4 is 6. And even the word heart equals 29. So everything you've heard me say so far about the number 29, attach the word heart to that too. That's in the reverse full reduction, that's 29. And the word numbers in the full reduction cipher equals 29. So it's almost like if you care about numbers, the English language is encoding that one of the most important numbers is 29. It's encoded right in the language, because the word numbers equals 29. Okay, so, and the other thing is, this is an interesting side note too, but the word Kazemi, actually, nah, I'm not going to get into that. I'll make this too long. Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna stay on track, for fuck's sake. All right, let's get back here. Let's get back. Okay, so we're talking about the resignation of the Peter John Slawley, who was a number 8 life path number, and he was born on the 8th. And he's a Leo also, and Leo's connected to the sun. So even that 19, we said Marvin Lee Minsky was born on a number 19 year. Well, the 19th tarot card is the sun, and the sun rules Leo. So, and so like I said, you got this other stuff here happening with with the life path number of John Slolly doubling up on that 8, he's the life path number 8. His birth month is 8th month. So we said Pierre Marcel Poilievre is also a life path 8. He's this new politician that's like gaining popularity amid this Freedom Convoy situation. His name is equivalent to 9. He assumed office on the 9th. But as for Peter John Slolly himself, okay, we mentioned that he mentioned that 18, that he was asking for 1,800 more police personnel to end the protest. We mentioned that the number 18 relates to materialism and to the onset of Age of Aquarius, and 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is the end of a cycle, and we're going from Age of Pisces to Age of Aquarius. That's the end of a cycle. Okay, so that's all in the background to keep in mind. But let's move on here. So Neptune and Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, right? And I said a lot of this stuff with the onset of this Freedom Convoy. And by the way, look, this is essential too. This is essential right now to mention. The word trucker convoy has the same gematria as the word fringe minority. If you use the keypad cipher. Oh, I didn't realize that the camera was shaking around that much with this wobbly desk. Holy shit. Alright, okay. I was going to take a hit, but I want to put this into perspective, this trucker convoy being 77, just like the word fringe minority equals 77. Well, guess what? By the way, that's from the keypad cipher, but anyway, guess what? 7 plus 7 is 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 is connected to Mercury via the Pythagorean and Chaldean cipher. And a lot of this Freedom Convoy, like Mercury, this Freedom Convoy situation started amid a Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is information and communication, and it's foggy during a retrograde. So you kind of got to expect this info when you're told the movement is a small fringe minority, right? And that seems to be reflected in the name itself. And I think that's why people started to, it seemed like people started to call it more Freedom Convoy, or maybe that's what it was from the very beginning, and there was just different terms or whatever, I don't know. But definitely I prefer to call it a Freedom Convoy. And I find it interesting that the word trucker convoy matches fringe minority, and that comes from the number 77, which can be reduced to 14, which can be reduced to 5, and that the date that Peter John Slolly himself assumed office was a Life Path 5 date. Okay, so these things are not coincidences to me. And again, don't get it twisted. Like, if I don't want to say some names here about who in the gematria community might be causing people to have such a closed version of what I'm trying to say, that they'll view this in a way that is not the way I mean it and start to stick words in my mouth or something like that. Like, I am not saying that these words were chosen with these numerical values in mind. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to be very clear about that. That's all I'm going to say about it for that shit. And some of the people might know who they are, you know. Look, it's all right. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. All right. I'll also say this: 28th with respect to Peter John Slawley assuming office at a Life Path 5 date of the 10th of, or the 10th month, 28th day, 2019. Well, with that 28, you have the Chaldean numerology saying the following about that number. This number is full of contradictions. It indicates a person of great promise and possibilities who is likely to see all taken away from him unless he carefully provides for the future. It indicates loss through trust in others, opposition and competition in trade, danger of loss through law, and the likelihood of having to begin life's road over and over again. Now, that's not his life path number or when he was born, the day of the month he was born, but it is the day of the month that he assumed office. And so to me, that indicates those kind of energies being significantly present in his career at that shit. And since it's a Life Path 5 for that October 28th, 2019 date, that resonates with the sort of mercurial quality of Anthony Fauci, right? Fauci is a Life Path 5, and he is a Capricorn. I forgot about that, but thank God I have this database that I made where I already included that information. Look, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it's a Leo moon, so I get to do that today. Alright. So Anthony Fauci is and why am I laughing that he's a Capricorn? Because as I mentioned, right when this Venus went direct, right on that 29th day of January, that is near the end of the month where there was a huge shitload of Capricorn energy. And when there's too much of shit in one side, then it's hard to do that shit. And like we said, Justin Trudeau is a Capricorn and Anthony Fauci is a Capricorn. So, but Anthony Fauci is a Life Path 5, which resonates possibly with the type of, like, if Peter John Slawley's assuming office made his career kind of a Life Path 5 with that area of it, then that would mean it was too scattered. I don't know. I'm not following his shit. I don't care. But that's what that number would mean. And the interesting thing too is, like, as I was thinking about this, I'm like, what about Justin Trudeau? He's a Capricorn. What is his life path number? Okay, let's check life path number 1 of my database, and you'll find he's a 1. And not just that, all this Leo shit. Well, who else is the life path 1? Aldous Huxley. And he's a Leo. Aldous Huxley's a Leo. Okay, so, like, that's why the word psychedelics equals 56, and the word coronavirus equals 56, and 5 plus 6 is 11. See, that's how gematria works. It's not that. Anyway, I'm just gonna bite my tongue again. All right. And of course, Aldous Huxley's name matches his book Brave New World, and the word Brave New World matches the word psychobiology. I already covered this in previous videos, okay? But and a lot of since the onset of the first lockdown, right, in 2020, you had these scientists saying, "Oh, take MDMA and take psilocybin mushrooms to deal with the effects of the lockdown." Okay, and turns out, well, Terence McKenna is the guy who is basically the counterculture icon for magic mushrooms. He is a Life Path 11, but he is heavily influenced by Aldous Huxley, first of all, and second of all, he is what was it? I thought, hold on a sec. Oh, yeah, I was connecting him to 8, but really that's because he's a Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's a Scorpio, so that's the 8th house. It's connected to the 8th house. And so you could almost say that the true node Scorpio right now, the true node Taurus and the true south node, the true north node Taurus and the true south node Scorpio that happened January 18th, which signaled a huge cycle of 18 months. Right, there's that number again, twice. See what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for this shit. But the point is, look, it's a South Node Scorpio. This guy's a Scorpio. This guy's a Scorpio who admitted that he... Look, I don't even need to say anything. Like you gotta do your damn homework on Terrace Vegana. You know what the fuck I mean. Like, he's a counterculture icon. He's promoting psychedelics, and it is... you gotta give the proper warnings about that shit. In my opinion, he does not do that. But look, like, so what I'm saying is the energies of a lot of things are aligning now, and it's like, you know, we mentioned like Timothy Leary, which was one of Terence McKenna's friends and almost like mentors. Like, you know, he opened one of McKenna's talks. There's a talk where McKenna did in public, and the person who introduced it was Timothy Leary, and Timothy Leary standing up there saying that Terence McKenna is saying everything that I was saying except upgraded and better, like that, like just straight up. Like, so you can equate the two people, okay? And we just said Timothy Leary is a life path 8, okay? And that he's a Libra. But yeah, life path 8. So that would be that you can connect that kind of to the 8th house and to Scorpio as well. And we said Peter John Slolly is a life path 8. And we said there was an overload of Capricorn energy near the end of January, and that this was at the onset of the whole Freedom Convoy thing, and that could mean that an overload of Capricorn energy means an overload of Justin Trudeau, and also an overload of anything to do with the misuse of that energy. If Justin Trudeau is a life path 1 and Aldous Huxley is a life path 1, and we know from the numbers that, and from even without the fucking numbers, just looking at everything that emanated from that shit, his brother coined the term transhumanism, for fuck's sake. So, you know, like, we don't need to do too much of a hop and a skip here. Julian Sorrell Huxley, his brother, received a Kalinga Prize, just like Arthur C. Clarke, who was basically, you know, seems like a big name in AI and things like that. You know, I could be wrong about that, but let me see here. It's been a while since I looked at this guy. But I know he was influenced by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who was also a huge influence on Philip K. Dick and Terence McKenna, and even Pierre Elliott Trudeau. And this is, I'm glad we went down this road right now, because there even is a, actually, you know what, I touched on that in a previous video, I think. Alright, in the interest of time, I'm going to move on. Hold on a second. So the point is, you find all these energies that are happening. If you're looking at what's happening on the ground, and then you use that as a basis, and you'll see the numbers will just confirm what you already see on the ground, and it'll just, it's very interesting how that works out. You know, like I said, the word trucker convoy equals 77, just like the word fringe minority, but that does not mean that the trucker convoy is a fringe minority, because like I said, that 77 is, that term, first of all, came about in this, or at least in this context, amid the Mercury retrograde, and that fringe minority equals 77, just like trucker convoy equals 77, that's 14. because 7 plus 7 is 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5, and the Pythagorean and Chaldean numerology connect 5 to Mercury, which was retrograde, like I just said. So anyway, blah blah fucking blah, right? Let's get back on track. So that 5, life path 5, is the life path that Peter John Slawley assumes office. You know, we said the thing about the 28 for when he assumed office. It's a difficult number. It means, like, if you don't make sure you keep up with everything, you could have loss through trust in others, opposition and competition in trade, danger of loss through law, and the likelihood of having to begin life's road over and over again. Well, that sure seems like what would happen if my pendulum was correct about, or my higher self via my pendulum was correct about the fact that he probably was kicked out. You know, like, I haven't had too much time to look into you know, who's going to replace him and stuff. I did mention that Steve Bell is said to replace him now, and that guy seems to, off the bat, have significantly, he looks like, I don't know, he looks like he would be willing to do worse shit. He looks like he'd be the type that want to arrest more. I could be wrong, but like I said, I asked the pendulum, and I'll ask it again. According to my higher self, under who, and it might not be with him, so I don't want to say, because I don't know how long this guy's going to be in power. They said interim, right? So, but is in general the fact that Slawley resigned, will that result in more arrests of protesters, of innocent protesters? Left is yes, right is no. That's a yes. Okay. So, according to my higher self, is it overall a bad thing for the community that Slawley resigned? Left is yes, right is no. Yes. See, people gotta understand that things go in cycles. Like, I'm not too particularly versed in the feng shui cycles, but I have heard that in certain, like, 10 or 20 year shifts, like, it favors the north versus the south hemisphere. And you know, that was Masaki Miyagawa, who I used to talk to, who mentioned that. So, you know, people can't. And at the same time, too, like, empires have an expiry date. And then even on top of that, you got the general age of Aquarius being like a kind of chaotic. And it's going to be, you got to kind of get used to the chaos in a way. So what was I saying? This is done. So yeah, I do think you know, it's gonna be because the other thing, like, it seemed like, okay, I'm not gonna go to that at that point, or at this point right now. Let me just rewind again. Okay, so Peter John Slawley, right? So we mentioned the 28th thing, that making him more likely to be, to have his career be fraught with kind of backstabbers or some shit like that, right? If the number 28 means loss through trust in others, or opposition or competition in trade, like, you know, I'm not the only one who is saying that this guy was probably like kicked out, but anyway, let's not make this the total focus of our lives. But, you know, the Neptune energy, as I mentioned earlier, is underscored by the date that this person took office, because the birth month was 10, which is 1, the birthday was 28, which is 1, and the birth year was 2019, which is 12, which is 3. So that's 1 and 1 and 3, as I mentioned in part 1 or 2 of this video. And that is the same numerical value as the word illusions in the reverse ordinal gematria cipher. So 12 is connected to Pisces, and the tone of what he was saying is kind of like in the article, as I mentioned earlier, in the CTV article about him, it was kind of a savior complexy. Making it sound like he thinks that like it could be similar to the January 6th insurrection of the U.S. or whatever. Like, all you need to do is watch the footage, the raw footage of what happened January 6th, to see that even if that is a vaguely accurate comparison, that it's not even that bad, because like, what the fuck did the people do when they got into that place in January 6th? They just like, they didn't break anything or burn anything. They were just like looking through a book, you know, like just checking the place out. Like, that's it. What, maybe like a window was broken or something? I can't even remember. Like, just like, you know, I don't even remember. But it was not anything like what you saw from you know, Antifa motherfuckers and shit like that. So, alright, so listen. So this Peter John Slawley, right? So we mentioned that 113 is found in the date that he took office, and that the word illusions equals 113. And why am I saying that? Because illusions is an attribute of Neptune, and Neptune rules Pisces, and Jupiter just entered Pisces, and most of this trucker shit, in my opinion, is a result of hope brought in a Pisces way from Jupiter. Jupiter is hope, Pisces is compassion. So people had compassion for each other. People were willing to sacrifice their jobs, to sacrifice their names for getting some hope. So I just got some goosebumps there. But so that Neptune Pisces thing is reflected in the guy when he assumed office. Neptune Pisces is about illusions, and Neptune rules Pisces. So we said that since Neptune is already in Pisces, and since Jupiter is used to rule Pisces and is in Pisces, you know, so that's kind of what was I saying here? All right. I think I need to take a hit of this. I think that's why. You know what's really pissing me off? It's just this 53-minute limit on this video recording device. That's what's pissing me off. Because then I constantly have to calculate in my head of like, how can I fit what I want to say into this shit? And I constantly underestimate how much I gotta say. So, what the fuck, man? Like, it's a full moon soon. Like, by the time I get this uploaded and to you guys, like, it'll be outdated. Like, some other shit will have happened. Like, fuck that. How the fuck do I make a 3-hour video based on a guy quitting? Like, what the fuck? Alright, fuck it. Fuck it. got 34 minutes. I got 20 more minutes before this shit turns off. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. See how many energy drinks I drink for you guys? So you guys can get this information. Alright. It's not good for the heart. That's what. Alright, hold on, let me hit a bigger hit of this, because this was not filled enough. So, to recap, you know, he quit his job shortly before Pisces season. That's happening in 2 days. And he quit his job amid the approaching full moon. That's happening today. And that full moon is in Leo, which he is a Leo. I didn't even write that in here. I forgot, but maybe I didn't notice at the time. Anyway, so he's a Leo. It's in a full moon, which is Leo. He quit basically. His announcement of him resigning basically happened the day before this full moon. And amid Jupiter in Pisces, right? We just mentioned that, right? So. And in general, Jupiter in Pisces, that can mean hope from any kind of sacrifice, right? We said we hope from sacrificing your job. So that, or maybe just your time and attention. Because if there's a lot of Earth energy at the end of that January, Earth is all about limitations of time and space. Like the physical world is about limitations. So sacrificing time